One and all, it may finally be time. Welcome back to the channel for grand final showdown between Anatan and Beasty. Game number 3. China is number 1. That's at least what we've been told. That's what we've been led to believe. Along with Zhuji, they share the title of number 1. Surely they can be like a B tier Civ in the Ayyubids. Well, definitely not being ranked up by a B tier player. Beasty behind the steering wheel in the Ayyubids in this game. Love the opening as well. Check this. He went double scout. Okay, that's exciting. Unfortunately, it looks like Anatan carved down the center perfectly. He used the extra vision of the Chinese to dodge getting intercepted. So he's already coming out ahead. We're talking 24 sheep right now compared to 16. And remember, the sheep count of Ayyubids is going to be inflated because they go berries first. This is not an ideal start for Beasty. And he still can't find where he is. Yeah, it's so tricky. The idea is cool for Beasty, but like China's probably the hardest Civ if the player's paying attention because of the extra vision. Tang Dynasty means this scout sees the enemy scout first. So then you can adapt your trajectory to stay out of vision. Do you know if Marine Lord retired after losing the previous tournament? We haven't seen anything from him. Hey, if he ever wants a firm, reliable place to practice, KPMM is open to him. I mean, Anatan has been grinding out the KPMMs, and now look at him, a top 3 player. You know, Poppy, Paw, and Wham took a break from the midweek musters, and Anatan took their place. That's all I'm saying. That's kind of crazy, though. 20 sheep to 24, and that's almost everything. I think there's maybe a few left in the corner up here. Yeah, 1 or 2. But then it's all gone. It looks like Beasty did at least find the sheep around the back, which is really important. Yeah, you always think that, like, sometimes when you get this type of spawn, you can quite often see, like, 3 sheep spawn here. You always think it's safe, but look at the range. Like, someone can walk in and take those away. We've seen games decided by someone not taking their initial sheep. Because you usually get, like, 5 to 8 sheep around your TC area. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if we'll see a laser eventually sign up to these. He's got some ways to go. I think he was, like, trending platinum recently. Which isn't bad for someone who just completely started and came from a game that doesn't have, like, these wide dynamics of, like, you know, X amount of civs, right? Okay, how did you guys predict? Wow, I think that's the closest we've had, right? 47% for Beasty, 53% for Anatan. So a tight series here. Dervish Wing. Okay, Beasty is going to go for that pressure build. We Fury Crafted. Likely we'll be looking at, what, like a Desert Raider opening to just poke a little here? Can make a lot of sense. The whole logic there is, like, if you go for a Desert Raider, you can bait your opponent to overreact into archers, and then you can just try to tech. He has a really good spawn to make that play as well, because he's got the back gold. That particular play, by the way, is a lot harder against Zhuji than Chinese, because Zhuji can immediately go Zhuge Nu. But obviously China would have to go Barbican first. But before they do that, it is going to be the classic. Pro Scouts on the way. To be expected here. Beasty, meanwhile, the way he's gathering gold, it feels like it's a fast castle build. And the outpost pretty much guarantees it. So Dervish, place them on these relics, and then likely Growth Wing. I mean, hell, Beasty's 2 games up. If he wanted to Gamba Wing, we saw Anatan do that in his series against Dimmu. It didn't end well in the Chinese Ayyubid matchup. In fairness, though, this is a better map for Gamba Wing because of the trade option. Maximum distance. If he was going to do that, I think he would have placed the House of Wisdom down here, though. Lasers, sucking. Well, sucking is a harsh word. Come on, Cascade. Sucking? Poor guy. I mean, of course he's going to be lacking in game knowledge, dude. He hasn't played AoE 4 for all the years the other players have. I always like to highlight this. Like, if you look at the way that most of the players played Age of Empires 4 when it first came out compared to now, like, the things we've learned about the game, it makes them all look like noobs. That's just a fair statement in general. That applies to so many games. I remember I made the most obvious comparison to me over the years with Dota 2. The things that pros were doing in Dota 2 in like 2012, the absolute gutter tier of like bronze level players do that in like 2021 now, 2022. They start doing that. Oh, sucking in, absorbing. Got you. In fairness, it's understandable why that red, like you say, he sucks. At least we'll pick it up quick though, right? He was a hell of a competitor with Stormgate. Okay, so plenty of scouts being bred here, because apparently people hate when I say that word. Other side, Beasty. Oh, apparently the only thing he's interested in breeding more of is money. We're looking at the fast castle build. Is there a world in which you do like industry or trade? I can't see it. Growth is just too safe, right? So we'll be the linear play into growth. Dervishes are already out in the field. They're like, don't touch our... Okay, they're taking it. Anatan has seen this play though, so he's going to try to react with Spearman, Horseman. Horseman is really rough into Dervishes because the debuff. I love this from Beasty though. He's griefing the deer. Wow, look at that Spearman damage. Wow, look at that spin. Oh god, playing against these camels always feels so depressing in the opening. Beasty is just got lame in the deer. Didn't go pro scouts himself. Like, it would be way too late. I think you just take away from your real timing here. Who needs a childhood if you can play Dota 2 competitively? I mean, true, your childhood is becoming a millionaire in that case. Is it worth getting wheelbarrow early in China? Only if you're moving a lot. He done it for the trees, right? Because he's got quite a lot of workers there. And the pivot to the gold, because the gold's quite far out. But usually with Pro Scouts builds, people don't really rush to wheelbarrow. We're 8 minutes in, it wouldn't really be considered a rush. But like 4 minutes wheelbarrow, no. Because the whole logic is when you go Pro Scouts, your villagers aren't moving. And if they're not walking, they're working, right? If they're working, they're walking. So if you're going to do a lot of walking, get this. But if you're static, which is what Pro Scouts gives you, this is quite redundant. It's why, for example, Roost don't really care much for wheelbarrow in the opening phase. I play AoE 4 since start and I never make it over Conk 2 and 1v1. So frustrating when new guys come in, play a few weeks, and same, good, feels bad. I can already just image the smashing of each key press as you type that out. Oh, outpost rush from Beasty. Nicely micro there. He actually perfectly played that. No losses to worry about at all. Spearman on the double dive are just going to get wiped out. Maybe like 2 left over at the end. Actually, Beasty decides to ungarrison a bit sooner. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to no comment about the be better than me after short like period, because traditionally over the years with games, I've been that person that like picks up a new game and does fairly well quite quickly. We all have that friend, right? And the logic is like there'll be people that will be better than me who commit to the game for a long period. But like it's always annoying when you have that friend that like they just start the game and they're immediately fairly decent. So Anno has the shoot coming. Interesting. Camelance is already in the way, but he has got a lot of spearmen. So he's looking to play blocker to Camelance or Archer here. Beasty already making that switch. I mean, Beasty, he doesn't actually know about the juke detail yet. He might assume like a tech up play here makes a lot more sense. Wallow is going to push him away. This is still on the first relic, by the way. Beasty got blocked quite well. Anatan has played his hand reasonably decently here. Not just that. You can see he's gradually scaling towards that castle age timing. Cool thing about this is like if you keep the Camel Lancers in check, you could play Clock Tower quite well. I think more likely might be Imperial Palace, just because the vision it could give over towards the center of the map, into the Stealth Forest. I know it has delayed his castle by a lot, but think about the ramifications of Beasty. He's kind of being pinned in his base. He's not achieving his real win condition. And Nano does have an army that's upgradable. You know, yes, the Camel Lancers won't care about Juke at all because of Undermesh, but the Archers will always care. So this isn't the worst idea of things to scale. If this was, say, Abbasids with composite bows, I'd agree. This starts to feel a bit bad because composite bows can, like, fight against you reasonably well. But all Ayyubids get is, woohoo, this buff. When we kill a unit, we get extra damage. Okay, so at the start of the fight, you lose 10 archers and 2 of them get damage promoted. It doesn't have the same ring to it as all my archers are Gatling guns. Another thing is you have to remember this is securing his pro scouts play. So we're looking at 4 deer stacks in this game. Anno has enough food to afford this. He honestly kind of needed it after the way the sheep game is going. Actually, no, he was okay on the sheep game, but like the reality is like when you're blobbing crap tier units versus quality, right? It's much easier for this to find its value in the game than one of these, or X amount of food for the same price. So Imperial Palace now on the way. Does go for the vision game. Also really cool because it's going to let him know if Beasty gets greedy and goes wide, which eventually he's going to have to do unless he wants to just go farms. I wonder, does Anno rush the monk timing? We've got extra Raxus getting added in here. Veterancy for Zhu gets prioritized. Makes sense. He wants to counter the archer play. The camel lancers are pretty underwhelming. There's only 5 of them right now. These dervishes are so obnoxious. That's the other importance of having something like a Zhug, by the way. It means that dervishes can't play in the fight at all. Remember, these are OP against mass melee. Same with the Imam play for Ottomans. Because the AoE heal just... The logic is when you're playing melee into melee, you can't immediately snipe down units one by one. AoE heal is really underwhelming when I can just target fire the unit you're healing. And even more so when I can just target fire you. Nice read by Anno as well. He's already waiting for that attempt to grab the flank relics. We'll get intercepted on some of the reinforcements. He's been a little bit careful about his positioning here. He's got Steel Arrow on the way, level 2, but he didn't actually rush it with the supervision at all. And we do have a Palace Guard switch coming in. Surprising, your opponent's still skiing a lot of Camel Lancers here. But he just wants to layer them in with the Spearmen, so it muddies the fight. Although, it's going to be a big fat L. As is this one. Wait. Anno's positioning. This isn't looking so great. Spearman count, there's only 8 here. The archers are cleaning them up. Anatans. He was trying to get home here, but Beasty was waiting for it. Circling like a shark. Gets in on top in the fight. Camel Lancers should be able to clean house now. Beasty now taking the military lead. And still reasonable amount of Camel Lancers left to play with. Still got one Dervish in play as well for the heals. Zhug pretty much have just been scoured from the universe. They don't exist anymore. And it's going to be a switch into Crossbow Palace Guard now. So not the worst of ideas. Crossbows will do phenomenally well against the camels. PG are just meant to absorb against the archers and absorb the charges of the camel lancers. I know because the pro scouts will definitely have enough food to do this, but for the time being, he is critically weak, right? He doesn't have a standing army right now to defend. Beasty is looking to exploit that. That's much for another thing is Undermesh 2. Hasn't been supervised either. Palace Guards do start with lower ranged armor, melee armor than standard men at arms. Meaning these archers do fare a bit better. And also Beasty, he did prioritize the range 2 upgrade. Really like to have dinner while enjoying the tournament. Beasty's finishing too fast. True, we need to put Hill and Dale back in rotation. That'll fix it all. I mean, it kind of might, actually, but... But why? Uh-oh, Camel Lancers? Perfect charge. I know, he tried to shrink the gap, so he took less damage. But check this, archers immediately snipe the backside. I know, getting chased away. He can't stick to the fight at all. The Palace Guard are just now getting mopped up. Anotan's problem is, like, he doesn't really have any eco upsides here. He secured one relic, but Beasty has more on the way home. In fact, Beasty's been trying to prioritize the enemy relics close to his base. So it's good that Anatan at least took that one away, but let's never forget this began by him, like, missing out on a relic close to his base, right? So overall, Beasty is trending towards 4 relics in this game. Top of that, Anno does at least have Song Dynasty to help him a little bit. But Beasty now has map access. He's pulling out onto the berries, onto the fish. There is a growing risk that Anatan will run out of food first because of the shoreline fish. Like if we do a raw count here, let's count reasonable distance. So 15, 500 each. That means he's getting 7,500 food. That's basically 3 deer stacks. And then you add in the berries as well. Like it's fair to say Beasty's in a much more confident position with his economy currently than Anatan. Because Anno has switched over onto Palace Guard and Crossbows, doesn't really have that raiding potential anymore. Not that he ever truly did. That was a bit greedy from Beasty, though. Then again, wait, was that the one? Oh, come on. Is it going to be 5 relics? I think Beasty was kind of semi-baiting him with that. You can see the army was reacting. That's why Anatan didn't hang around. That was dirty. He's dangling it out there because he knew that if Anatan really did commit to try and get the relic, that could be game. Especially when you look at the archer versus crossbow count. Doubler and now also crossbows as well. Beasty just pretty much looking to keep a thin line of melee and blob range now. So this does actually offer up a route for Anatan if he didn't go for Imperial Palace. And that would have been to go Clock Tower, Nesta Bees. It's not guaranteed, but with your opponent posturing Synchro Sites, you can push somewhere, right? Nesta Bees are the optimal counter to mass archers. But now the problem is like Anno needs a decent amount of front line for that. Even then, there's kind of a growing concern it might be a bit too slow. Especially now that Beasty's making the move first into Siege. What's the power of Io on this map? I think the thing about Io is you feel like you're almost guaranteed castle age with how safe the spawns are. I think also Beasty was kind of aware that it was going to be the Chinese pick. So he's just kind of downplaying his pick to a certain degree. Because at the end of the day, it's like a best of 7. You're removing one of Anatan's best civs. But the Dervish play like makes a lot of sense against Pro Scouts. If he assumes Pro Scouts are going to be happening on this map, it means you get 2 relics on Fast Castle for free. This gold may be the killer for Anatan. Needs it for massing crossbows. Mango shots are coming in, though. I mean, he has no other gold, right? No. Just taxation. No relics either. Love the outpost from Beasty as well. Full vision around the Stealth Forest, just like his opponent. We do at least have Anatan fishing, so not quite dry on resources yet. Has taken most of what would exist otherwise. I think there's... Oh, wait. Was that Beasty? You son of a... And that is how you counter Pro Scouts. I remember when the game first came out, I had this cool theory about like Pro Scouting, picking up the enemy deer and hiding them in Stealth Forest. But in reality, it wasn't that good because when you play on low graphics, you can see them in the Stealth Forest easily. But if you're a high graphic gamer, you can see how bad it is. Synchro Sight timer is ticking. Anatan in a bit of a tricky predicament. He has got the Trebs coming in to try and deal with the outpost. Hit on the seaside, though. 7 villages down now. Anatan, all that work for someone just to remain behind like this can't feel great. Release the deer? No, dude, this is thoughtful because if you eat all the deer, then they can't reproduce and the deer go extinct. So when you let them... Oh, wait, they're already dead. So what's Anno's idea for victory here? I think he's just looking to blob and contest the main fight. The Nesta Bees will be insanely high value here. The problem he has is, and what he doesn't know, is that Beasty's already kind of read that move by prepping Horsemen. Horsemen's your golden solution here. Because against 53 archers, like Nesta Bees just completely shred. Why no 2TC Song? 2TC would kill him. He's got like 1,000 food income, and he's still being outmassed militarily. I think 2TC is just too greedy here. His logic was, as the game goes on, Song extends my villager count to the point that like Beasty's eco wing play doesn't really matter. Problem is these small raids that have been coming in. It's kept him pinned down. 68 to 76 villages currently. We need a civ that tampers with deer. Wait, why are you adding cilantro? Wouldn't the play beta add... Oh, what is that spice? There's a spice that apparently certain people, it tastes like soap to them. Coriander, right? Add coriander to the deer. That's how you get it. Oh, is cilantro... Wait. Oh, is that... Oh, yeah. That's the American name for it, isn't it? Sorry, I always get that mixed up because we call it coriander. Mr. Bees are marching in. If he could see this... But he's blind to it, though. Are you kidding me? How do you hide something that big behind one tree? Nesta Bees get a good hit, though. Manjanique's no to return fire. Lance is trying to come in for the flank. This is do or die for Anatan. The Nesta Bees may be failing him a little here. That AoE heal is offsetting the damage. It's just not enough. He's not clearing it fast enough here. No, he needed one more Nesta Bees for that to really be the checkmate maneuver. Instead, he gets shoved home. 5 minutes left on the clock, and things now looking grim for Anatan. You've got to be kidding me. Just one tree, guys. Just one tree. And it hid everything. It hid the world from Anatan. Now, scary thing is, Mass Manjanique can get... Oh my god, dude. He's doing it again. Beasty done this against B. This isn't like a one-off Ayyubid pick on this map for Beasty, folks. Beasty picked this civ in the last round against John. And destroyed with a dervish opening. And it ended with this very, very large thing on your screen. Dominating the fights. It's happening again. It's a perfect counter to crossbows. A little bit questionable against Nesta Bees, but your opponent doesn't have many of them. He keeps telling us he's all about aggression, but this is looking a lot like Siege Cutie right now. 5 Manjaniques and a siege tower. Oh my god. Anatan just has no moves left. Wonder if the Pro Scouts... I wonder if instead of Pro Scouts, he could have maybe just gone double Scout Opener. Got his greed a different way, because that would have starved out Beasty a bit more, and it would have given him enough to forget about Pro Scouts. Maybe the like Shuganu all-in idea. I think it came down to that surround. Beasty just patiently played around it, and I think that just put him so far ahead, far enough ahead that he can just build 2 of these very nonchalantly. It's only 1,000 resources each, guys. It's not much. Oh look. You built a castle. Be a shame if I had a giant-ass ram. Oh no, we're back on the follow mode. And the boys shuffle in. Who would do it faster? A Trebuchet or a Tower Sultan? The Tower Sultan's actually trying to kill the Trebuchet right now. Keep drop now on the north side. He mops up another group trying to sneak out. I know his problem is he doesn't have the farms yet. If he could get a decap, the game could actually look somewhat productive for him, right? He'd be able to have enough time to do a full granary switch. Full granary switch isn't going to be quick enough here. We've got 3 minutes left on the clock. He's just playing a really clean series. That game 1, I'd say, was the scrappy one. But everything since then, it's like, you know, just warmed up, ready to roll. DC goes full passive. Yep. Welcome to 5 relic life. Why would you send your people down into the gold mines where they could die when you can just worship a relic and God gives you gold? I think that's how it works. Actually, I think it's meant to be the pilgrims come and drop off the coins. And then you prove that like church is a scam when you just like pillage the coffers for the state. San's just punting a Hail Mary here. just a casual 23 villages repairing. This is very expensive. If we didn't have to repair this, we could have built more Tower of the Sultans. And goes, oh no. This isn't great. Nesta Bees get the return fire, but it's not enough to kill the Manganiques. Knobs are down. That has to surely be it. The villagers aren't even reacting anymore. Anatan with a misclick, trying to run away. It's all falling apart. We may have a 4-0 wipe on our hands unless Anatan can start to play perfectly and turn this around with a redraft. It is going to be a beastie wipe. He is now on the verge of victory for the first time ever in midweek muster. After the third attempt, after 14 weeks of existing, he could do so in the most dominant of fashions. Anatan, right now, it's got to be said, looks completely incapable of stopping him. Look how hard these things... Goodbye, Castle. At this rate, goodbye, Anatan.